Hey YouTube, right here. I know it's been a while. Sorry about that. Had some shit in my life that I needed to take care of. Anywho, I'm back and I'm rested. Let's do this shit. So, I went through and I watched a few of my older videos while I was away and just wanted to kind of see, how I've changed from the beginning of my channel all the way to now. Changed quite a bit, but the thing is a lot of my core beliefs are still there. They've been added to, but not so much subtracted from. And I want to go ahead and kind of maybe update some of my older thoughts and reapply them and see if they still hold weight. So, let's go ahead, let's talk about a bachelor tax, because there's more noises being made in that direction here in the U.S. in a few cities and states. But again, I want to ask, is bachelor tax going to hit men that are divorced? Or is it going to be like over in Germany? I know one of my commenters back on my old video discussing the bachelor tax the first time, he brought up that over in Germany, they actually basically have a bachelor's tax, but the way that they do it is they do it by way of tax tiers. According to him, he's in that top bracket tier, which is the highest taxing tier. That means he pays the most in taxes. If he was to get married, it would knock him down a tax tier. But from what I gathered from what he said, if you're divorced or you have a kid or something like that, like all those things knock you down tiers. So it's not one of those things where it would affect. Now, if they were to do something like that, I'm not going to say that it's fair, because the thing is, it's not fair to sit there and punish a guy for not wanting to get married. It should not be the government's business, period, end of story, what you want to do with your marital status. Shouldn't be any of their business whatsoever. I mean, hell, single guys get enough shit from their families about not getting married. And now the government wants to come in and add financial sting to it as well. Here's a question. Are we sure? Are we absolutely sure that there is a separation between state and religion? I'm actually legitimately starting to question that, and especially with all the bullshit that's going on here in California. But yeah, I'm honestly having to ask this, because the thing is I don't think that the state should be Christian based. I don't think that it should be Islam based. I don't think it should be based on any fucking religion. It should be based off of a secular society, because that's what we fucking are, is a secular society. It should sit there and say, yeah, you want to practice your religion, go ahead and practice your religion. As long as you're not bringing harm to anyone else, you're good to go. But the thing is putting in that as long as you're not bringing harm to anyone else, there's a few groups that are going to have some issue with that one. But I'll save that for a later video. But as far as bachelor tax, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are sitting there and going, yeah, no, that's fucking bullshit. There's even some women who have been sitting there and going, why in the fuck are you doing a fucking bachelor tax? Are you going to tax single women? No, you're not. So why in the fuck do you think that it's okay to target men? There are some women doing that. But the thing is MGTOW's been predicting this little shift that's been happening. We started predicting that for a long time back. I was predicting that shit well before I was even a MGTOW, well before I even knew what MGTOW was. I was all like, yeah, this whole feminism thing's gonna start to drop off, but the damage is still gonna be there. The damage is still gonna be done. And the thing is these women who are all like, I was wrong, you know, feminism was wrong, so on and so forth, aren't going to go ahead and then fight against the damage that they've done. They're gonna sit there and just let it sit and reap the benefits of their ill-gotten gains, while sitting there and going, oh, well, I'm not a feminist anymore, so I can't be blamed for it. Yes, you can, bitch. And then you got someone there going, well, I've never been a feminist. All right, cool. So you've stayed neutral on the matter. Let me go ahead and ask you this. If a guy was walking down the street, saw another man raping a woman, and he just stood there and watched it happen, what would you think of him? Oh, you'd think he was complicit in it. That he's just as guilty because he did nothing. He didn't even call the cops. He didn't stop it. He did nothing but stand there and watch it happen. And the thing is, that does not even compare to what you women have been doing. The ones that have been standing there, staying absolutely silent. Watching men go through this, seeing your brothers, your husbands, your fathers, your sons, your nephews go through this, seeing them being lined up and marched to the fucking slaughter by our governmental system that has been taken over by a group of ideologies that have banded together for one specific purpose, and that is to divide everyone. To give who they deem special benefits and to punish those who they deem worthy of punishment. And their reasoning behind it, well, basically comes down to, if you really listen to their arguments and you actually judge them on their merits, the only thing that you can say from those ideologies that are doing this shit, only reason why they have for doing it is because they say so. Because they say that they're right. That's it. That's what it comes down to. But when you stand there idly and watch that shit happen and you do nothing, well, guess what? You're reaping the benefits of this shit. You didn't speak out against it. Why in the fuck should you get that special consideration? Go, oh, well, they weren't actively taking part in it, so it's not their fault. Sorry. Not giving you that pass. Thing is, at that point, you're complicit in it. Not saying that you're guilty of it, because I'm not like that. I'm not one of those people that sits there and says, oh, because you belong to this group and because someone from your group has benefited from this, then that means everyone from your group is just as guilty. I'm not saying that. I am not putting every woman on the level of these off-the-wall, fucking psychotic pile of shit feminists. They get their own fucking classification. Like these feminists that are sitting there and honestly fucking saying that the male population should be reduced down to 10% of what it currently is. Forcibly. I'm talking about those feminists. Those feminists get their own fucking classification. Because a lot of people like to sit there and say, oh, well, all feminists believe in the same thing. Even the feminists don't fucking say that. The feminists have so much fucking infighting going on. Social justice as a whole has its own little internal wars going constantly. Because People are vying for their own personal groups. I mean, hell, in feminism alone, you've got people who are sitting there and saying, oh, well, women are victims. But then you've got other ones that are saying, yeah, well, all women are victims, but the thing is women of color are more victims, and so they deserve more attention. They deserve their problems to be pushed to the forward line of the queue. You know, you've got that sort of shit. The progressive stack as it was. But the thing is, I'm not going to give a pass to anyone who isn't actively saying, no, you know what, that's fucking bullshit. You know? Just like the guy that stands there and watches the fucking rape happen. Are they as bad as the rapist? No, they're not, because they didn't actually rape anyone. But they're not much better. But when it comes down to a fucking bachelor tax, you actually have women actively speaking out against it. But the thing is because of that whole, benefiting from the fucked up status quo, I gotta kind of question your motives. Are you fighting against the bachelor tax because you're maybe a single woman? Or maybe you have a daughter that's coming up to dating age, and you're seeing that bachelor tax is going to make it so that men are going to have less resources to funnel in to you or to your spawn. I have to question this. I have to. Especially with the whole, I forget what school it was at, but where they were sitting there and saying that all students should just give money to feminists and women of color just because. That they should pay at least $35 to them for the emotional labor that they put into the campus. But what? So let me get this straight. These women, because I have to use that term very lightly. If you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, you'll know why. These women go ahead, go to college, guaranteed they've got fucking grants. They got free money coming to them because vagina, or because of, skin color, or both. Have a faculty that is geared to coddle them and to be on their side automatically, or risk getting fired. Bitch and whine, piss and moan and complain, and just in general make everyone on the campus's lives fucking miserable. And then they're saying that all these people that they have made miserable should have to pay them because they get frustrated because there's some people that tell them to shut the fuck up, that they're making everyone miserable. The logical disconnect there is mind-numbing. So when shit like that fucking happens, and the real truth comes out, and that really ugly part of human nature comes out in its purest fucking form from specific groups of people, who have been putting it on full display for a very long fucking time, who are in positions of power and who are in charge of some of the most important institutions of our society. And not because they earned their way there, but because they guilted people into it, or they used threats of violence, or used actual fucking violence to accomplish that goal. It makes me question anyone with anything similar to those groups. It makes me kind of question your motives when you're sitting there and saying, oh, well, you know, this isn't fair. And you got to understand my skepticism here. With everything that's fucking going on right now, honestly, ladies, don't expect any man to trust you. If he does, then congratulations, you found yourself a fucking moron. Now, I'm not saying that men should never trust women. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, don't blame a man for being fucking skeptical of your fucking motives. But right now, I'm honestly skeptical of women that are sitting there and saying this, because the ones that I see doing it fall into one of the two categories. Either a parent that has a daughter, or a son, because I've seen both. The ones that have a daughter just say, well, it's just not fair. But the ones who have a son sit there and say, that makes it less likely that my son's going to even attempt to date, because he won't be able to afford it. Why should he have to pay for women that he isn't even involved with? And you see, that's the thing. Right there. Why should he have to pay for women that he is not involved with? Here's my answer to that. Why should he have to pay for a woman that he is involved with? Why can't she earn her own way, him earn his own way, and yeah, them temporarily fucking bring their resources together, maybe start up a family, whatever, whatnot. But why should he ever be responsible for her? Why? The only time a person should be responsible for someone else is if that person is their child. And that child is under the age of being able to make their own decisions. Why should an adult be responsible for another adult? Unless the other adult has special needs. Are you saying that being a woman means you have special needs? Is that it? Because that's the only way that you can actually make sense of this. Now, I'm not saying that. Because quite frankly, I don't think a woman puts you in the same level as dirt. Alright? I'm not saying that. But the thing is when you sit there and say that a man should be responsible for the well-being of another adult, it's the only time that should ever be held true. And it should be a voluntary thing. But you see, here's the thing. In most scenarios, at that point, the man is being paid to be responsible for that person. Not having to pay to be responsible for that person. I've in the past compared marriage to slavery. I still think that the comparison stands up. And it's becoming more and more true as more and more bullshit laws, more and more bullshit rulings come into play. But at the very least, if you're not going to sit there and say that it's outright slavery, it's at the very least the worst fucking job that you could ever fucking have. A job that you end up having to pay for. If you get fired from said job, you then have to continue to pay for it, albeit at a slightly discounted rate. But you still have to continue to pay for that job, while someone else gains the very few benefits from that job. Would you really sign up for something like that? Would you sign that fucking contract? No, of course you wouldn't. No one in their right mind would. So yeah, I have to question these women that are saying, oh, the bachelor tax isn't fair. I agree with them. Yeah, it's not fair. It's not okay. Quite frankly, it's unconstitutional because it is specifically targeting a group of people. And the Constitution says no. Or should I say the amendments of the Constitution say no. Just like if they were to sit there and try to implement a white person tax. No. That wouldn't fly. A lot of people would refuse to fucking pay it. And then the government comes in, tries their fucking force them to do it bullshit, and then go, sorry, there's no money. I ditched it all. Sorry. Oh, okay. You're going to put me in prison? Cool. 3 hots and a cot. Awesome. I'll be out in 5 days anyway, because you're going to have to make room for other people to come in. So we're just going to be on a revolving door thing. Get to the point where employers just sit there and go, fuck it, we're not firing you. Just let us know when you're getting out and when you'll be coming back to work. We'll start scheduling you again. And the thing is I know that sounds comical, and I could see that in a pothead movie. I could see that situation in a pothead movie. A movie comes to mind, and it's called Idiocracy. And the thing is when people sit there and say, oh, I wonder where civilization is headed towards, I grab that movie on mall and I point to it and I go, there. We're already halfway there. And we're not showing any signs of slowing down. In fact, we're speeding up towards it. We're accelerating toward that. So go ahead. Buy your stock in Gatorade. Because apparently that'll be the only thing that'll ever be sold as far as drinks are concerned pretty soon. But I mean, it's getting to the point now, like in all seriousness, it's getting to the point now where there's so little that actually makes sense with the social dynamic of people. And I'm not talking about just on a macro or just on a micro scale. I mean, just across the fucking board. Like where I'm at, social interaction is pretty fucking normal. Alright? We haven't really been hit by this yet. But as we get more and more people coming up from down south trying to bring their fucking bullshit up here, you're getting a few people every once in a while that'll fall for the shit, and then they get fucking excised out of the community. But you can only keep that up for so long. I mean, we are part of California still. So it's only a matter of time before stupidity becomes law. But no, just for the few ladies that watch this channel, or if you just stumbled across this channel and you're seeing this video, and you stuck with it so far, do not be surprised when a man questions the motives of a woman. Because take a look at the social dynamic between men and women. Look at what's expected of men, look what's expected of women. And if you seriously cannot look at that situation objectively and say, yeah, I can understand a guy being a little bit cautious when being involved with a woman, well then, I would say go ahead and take yourself critical thinking course, but pretty soon those are going to be illegal to be taught, because the thing is critical thinking doesn't give a fuck about your feelings, and we can't have that now, can we? But yeah, like I said, I'm back. I'm kind of ranty at this point. Eventually I'll get a little bit more focused like I was before. I ended up having to take that little break. Looking forward to seeing you guys in the comments. I've got a few things that are coming down the pipeline that I'm going to be going ahead and addressing. So go ahead, keep an eye out. Everyone keeps saying to hit the notification bell. I'm not even 100% sure on how that works. I don't expect you guys to hit it, but if you want to be notified of when I upload things, then go ahead and do that, especially with the new YouTube policies that are going through. I'm pretty sure my channel is going to be one of the ones that's going to be shoved back into the deep, dark recesses where you have to specifically search for it. And even then, they're going to give you like 20 channels before mine pops up that are sitting there and saying, feminism is good. One of us. You know the fucking drill. So, have yourselves a great day. Talk to y'all later.